Hello everyone and welcome back to another must-see chess game by Raul Capablanca and from the Hastings chess tournament from 1919. And in this chess game, Capablanca's opponent is a chess player named Adrian Garcia Conde, who was a British-Mexican chess master. And when you're studying the endgames, and if you want to watch some of the classic beautiful chess games from the history, well, watching the chess games of Raul Capablanca is never going to disappoint you. It is always going to be instructive and highly beneficial for the chess players who are studying the endgame. So this chess game is a perfect example of why you should go for the endgame, when you should simplify the chess game and go for the endgame, and how you should play at the endgame. So Capablanca has the white pieces, and he starts the game with pushing the e-pawn, e5, knight out, bishop out, and this is the Spanish game. Pawn up, bishop back, knight out, castling, d6, and now Capablanca captured the knight and damaging the pawn structure in the queen side. Pushing the pawn, capturing the pawn, developing the bishop, the knight, the bishop, developing the bishop, and black castled. Queen to d3, rook to e8, rook from f to e1, pawn up, bishop back, pawn up, defending the knight, and also black is damaging the pawn structure in the king side. Now, let's check out this position. Capablanca's plan was actually very simple. Capablanca realized that in a possible endgame, let's say, if both players simplify the chess game, they both simplified the chess game and they both have their knights, let's say. Okay, white also has doubled pawn structure in the king side, but white can actually easily defend his f-pawn with pushing the h-pawn and then pushing the g-pawn to g4. But how on earth is black going to defend his pawn on a6? So that would be a problem for black. So Capablanca realized that if he can simplify this chess game, he is going to win. So after queen to d7, h3, just simply planning to play g4. a5, a waiting move, rook d2, lifting the rook. Knight goes back. Well, this is exactly what Raul Capablanca wanted. He captured the bishop, rook takes on e7, rook takes rook, queen takes rook, and then bang, knight to d5, knight in. Defending the queen, and here comes rook over, and now attacking on e7. If playing e7, then that is going to be losing for black, attacking the queen, and also x-raying the pawn on c7. So fighting for the open file, but Capablanca simply captured the rook, queen takes on e8. And here comes queen to e3 by Capablanca. Again, the same idea. He wants to simplify the game and go for the endgame, and as you can see, the pawns in the queen side are going to be extremely difficult to defend. But in this position, if knight takes on c7, then queen check. If queen goes back to e5, attacking the f-pawn and attacking the b-pawn. So if king to h2, again check, also attacking the b-pawn. So Capablanca didn't want this. Rook takes on e8, queen takes on e8, queen to e3, and queen to d7. Black also realized that he should never go for the endgame, especially against Capablanca, but now Raul Capablanca. He played queen to e7. And black has to exchange the queens. Black did that, going into the territory of Raul Capablanca, which is very dangerous. But in this position, if capturing the f-pawn or something like, let's say, queen to c6, this is all over, losing by force, then check, only defense, check, forking the king and the queen. So you get the picture. This is why black is forced to exchange the queens. Check, king to f8, and knight to d5. Attacking the c-pawn. It looks like on the surface Capablanca is attacking the c-pawn, and black didn't even defend the pawn. He played king over and Capablanca captured the pawn. Well, king to e8 looked like a sloppy, lazy move, but actually black can do nothing about it. So in this position, you might wonder what happens if c6, then knight to b6, let's say d5, knight to d7, this is check, also attacking the c-pawn and capturing the c-pawn, and this is losing for black. So in this position, after knight to b6, what happens if king to e7, then knight to c4, attacking the a-pawn, so pushing the pawn, knight to b6, defending king to g5, and knight takes on a4, king to h4, king to g2, and easily defending. So black can attack the h-pawn with getting in with the knight, but again white has a pass pawn, so after moving the knight, white is going to push the pawn and it is going to be very difficult to defend. So in this position, after knight takes on e7, king to f8, and not even defending the pawn, Capablanca captured the pawn. King to d7, knight back, king to c6, pushing the pawn, simply defending the knight, exchanging the knights, and now fixing the pawn structure, blocking the a-pawn. d5, b3, d4, f4, king to d6, pawn up, king back, king up, king to d6, king to f3, king in, king to d6, and you can see that black has a pass pawn, but it is insignificant. Capablanca pushed the h-pawn, king back, and b4 by Capablanca. So a takes on b4. If c takes on b4, then king takes on d4, and this is losing. But after b4, a takes on b4, and Capablanca is pushing the a-pawn. King to c7, and now g5. This time Capablanca is creating a pass pawn in the king side. F takes, h takes on g5, and h takes on g5, pushing the b-pawn, and king goes back. We have king to d7. If b2, then king can go back. And the main question is, if black can push the d-pawn, of course you are not going to capture the d-pawn, you are going to capture the b-pawn. Can black defend? And the question is, yes. King to c2 and defending everything. So as you can see, this is not working for black. So this was also a fantastic move by Capablanca, pushing the g-pawn. F takes, h takes on g5. And Capablanca also has a pass pawn on the g-file and also on the a-file. And black king can't reach both of the threads. Can't defend against both of the threads. Black has to have two kings for the defense, but in chess you can't do that. b3, king goes back, king to d7, and Capablanca creates his pass pawn. And actually after capturing the pawn, black resigned because he can't defend both of the threads. So simply let me illustrate that. Pushing the pawn and queen. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, if going for the queen side, then pushing the pawn in the king side, and that is losing for black. So this was the beautiful chess game of Raul Capablanca, a beautiful endgame, and I hope that you have enjoyed watching this chess game, and I hope to see you next time. Take care and bye bye.